I'm Dan Drake. This is Visitor Network TV and Channel 99. Our guest today is Mark McDougall, Chief of the Nantucket Fire Department.
Hi, Dan. How
Mark,
you doing?
Great. Thank you. I'm glad to have you with us.
Glad to be here.
We wanted to talk a little bit about the status of, or the process and progress in terms of the new fire station, because originally there was going to be something on the warrant for this town meeting, and now it's been taken off. So where do things stand exactly?
Well, you're correct. Originally, we had 13. I think it was 13 million on the warrant for the building of a new fire station, and that warrant was pertaining towards 4 fairgrounds where we have floor plans and square footage laid out.
Are they basically the plans from the prior?
They are. The plans that were developed in 2008, and at that point, that's when the fire station was taken off, and they went forward with the police station and the central dispatch to kind of do it as a phase project.
Yeah, and we've talked before about the need for the new fire station, so I don't think we need to go into that in any great detail.
Okay, that's fine. I do have some information here if we want to. I got the 1979 annual report.
Let me have that for a minute.
Just a quick history on it. 1979 is when they were building the building that we're in now. I think it was May of 1980 is when they moved in. At that point in time, Bruce Watts became fire chief, and the fire station was quite a bit different then. Do you mind if I read something real quick out of here? All right, and just to give you an idea, it's I'll read it word for word here. The fire department answered 145 fire calls and 425 ambulance calls in 1979, so that's about 570 calls. Right now we're up to about 3,200 calls, and that doesn't even include the inspections. We do about 1,000 inspections. As well, when it goes on further to state that we have 8 drivers. The permanent firefighters at that time were only drivers. Right now we have 20 firefighters, 1 fire alarm superintendent, and 1 fire prevention officer, plus deputy chief in chief, which is me. So at that time they only had 8, as well as they had 67 call people, and that's the big difference. That this department was set up more as a call department.
When we're talking as a volunteer.
Well, yes, it was, because when you're talking 67 individuals, that's quite a few. But times are a lot different now. People that have families, businesses, and jobs that they can't leave. Plus the requirement, the standards that we put in to be an EMT and to be a firefighter. It's an immense amount of training, and not everybody can.
So do you have call firefighters now?
We do. We have right now. We have a list of about 25. Now we have 15 regulars that come in, and those 15 are able to keep up their requirements, their training. So obviously the workload transitioned us over from call fire department to permanent fire department.
Yeah, another difference is that you have women in the department now, which you didn't then.
Yep, and that's a big difference. So you're looking at it. You're looking at a building that was designed for a call type fire department with very minimal staffing, and like I said, back then they were doing 570 calls. And I did have a chance to talk with Bruce Watts about it. This was a little while ago, and he'll support me on this. He stated when they moved in there, May of 1980, they were at full capacity already of the building, and we've just outgrown it to a big extent. So anyhow, we when they went to purchase the fairgrounds property, there was a committee formed after that was looking at public safety, police, and fire, and it was a plan went through, and the fire department got at least to the floor plans, not to the actual structure of electrical and wiring like that. We dropped off in 2008. And now we're just picking the ball up again, and it's almost like starting over. The work group committee, they're reviewing the same things we did back in 2008, and some of those.
You can recall off the top of your head who's on that work group?
On the one in 2000. Oh, right now, let's see. We have Jack Gardner, Neil Patterson, Patty Roggeveen, Peter Morrison, Timmy Savarino, and Carol Dutton. We have a representation from the Capital Committee, the Finance Committee, and then we have Board of Selectmen Bobby DeCosta. There's Jack Gardner and Neil Patterson. They were on the last committee. Which is good because they get to bring all that work and information.
Institutional
through with them.
memory.
Yeah, and it makes a big difference. And we've had 4 meetings so far, and there's a lot on the table. There's a lot of options on the table. And some of those options are, okay, should we build one main station at 4FG, or should we redo the 131 Pleasant Street?
That's option number 2.
That would be option number 2. Or are we going to look at a downsized main station and putting satellite stations out there? Which satellite stations could be along the North Shore, or different areas of the island. We did look into all this before, but it's good, since 5 or 6 years have passed, just to review everything again, and this is what the committee's doing. I forgot to mention Tim Savarino. I don't know if I mentioned him.
No, you did, yes.
Did I? Okay. But anyways, all this is on the table, which is good, and we need more time to review it, and this is why it was pulled from April town meeting. Myself personally, I always stood behind, look, let's go over to 4FG, because there was a lot of time and effort put into that. But there's always been a lot of different opinions and ideas out there, and I think it's the best thing to do is to review them. And we're gonna make sure that we review it pretty thoroughly and before we come forward with a plan.
One of the things we talked about the last time you were on was access and ability, response times.
Yes.
And you, I think, at that time, if I recall, told me that you thought the response times were better from 4FG.
Well, here's the thing. When we get into response times, there's actually a whole bunch of different things you could talk about. We did a response time study. We had an individual come down. It was a very simple study, and it looked at, we picked 7 locations where one main station would be. Some of the areas we looked at was the hospital property, 131 Pleasant Street, 4FG. We looked at the water company property, as well as we looked downtown to where the older station was. And that was just to get an idea of what the response times were. Now, when we looked in our central, I call our central area where we are located, when we looked at water company, 131 Pleasant, 4FG, and the hospital, there wasn't a big difference. We didn't expect a big difference in coverage. The reason why I was talking about 4FG to be better is because I was concerned about the density, the build out for 131 Pleasant.
Right.
We have New Banks, New Cumberland Farms, West Creek Road, we got commercial buildings on there, right. And it's getting busier. And even now, I know that Stop and Shop, they plan on building a new building there as well. So that was a big part of it, to move over to 4FG, just to have better access. Now, in regards towards better response times, yes, you will get those when you have outer satellite stations. A standard is, can I get a fire engine and ambulance to you within 5 minutes, no matter where you're located on the island? We're not doing that now. We can't meet that right now. It's not a question of whether we could meet it in the future. We could, but it's financing and it's planning and it's long-term. It's staffing. And like I said, that's why we did look at all this last time. And of course, the conclusion was from 2008 was, look, the cheaper version of it would be to build one main station. But I think we're going to review it a little bit closer to see what the cost is to build 2 stations, which of course would mean sizing down the main station, right. And where are we going to locate the other station? And then look at, okay, staffing, because staffing doesn't go away.